In the distance, you can see what could be a rock. Earth was mostly, at one time, rocks and boulders. And inside, you can see maybe as if it were under a large plant, or it was a representation of a womb, something to come out of, to give birth to. And the nature of the movements that are created for birth, the nature of those movements is generally pulsatory. Movements like respiration, ways of squeezing and undulating one's body ahead of itself, almost like squeezing toothpaste out of a tube. And it's the beginning of undulatory movements. You'll begin to see these pulsatory respiratory movements becoming more common, easier. And a variety of movements are created, rolling from side to side, getting off of the facing of the earth that you're always looking at the time, and then the undulatory movement focuses a direction through tubes. The tubes, in fact, represent the tubular outer shapes of our arms, our legs, our trunk, our body. But to realize that inside of us, this movement is the movement of peristalsis, which is a movement from the mouth to the anus through a large tube. That have a focused direction now. The ability to organize the tubes to carry you forwards in the environment. And now adding a lateral flexion to the movement, side to side movements, gives even more ability to go further because you have the possibility of something like, let's say, a fin. And a set of fins that could help propel you in addition to the movements of your trunk and your legs. And that's one way of propelling yourself from the foot all the way through to the head. And then back to large lateral movements where the forepaws could grab the ground, or if you will, the water, to either swim and pull or to come onto a solid surface and also pull. This is the beginning of amphibian and reptilian movements on the land. It requires changes in your sensory abilities and in your environmental perceptions. And now you see the beginnings of moving more directly into reptiles. This is a very skeletal form, reptile movement. Reptilian arms. Some of the same anatomy of the body as began in the fish are still carried through, not just through amphibians, but also through reptiles. And look at the movement that you can propel over the land if the reptile knows how to use their forepaws, their trunk, their hind paws, everything. And now lifting the trunk and the body mass off the floor, or on the ground, if you will, becomes necessary for propulsion eventually. Using the trunk to organize the limbs, and that requires also major perceptual changes to access the environment once the body is off the ground. A good example of this would be dinosaurs. They got their teleceptors in their head a long ways from the ground. And you're seeing better and better differentiation an independent control of the arms, the legs. Now this is an animal that can lift its limbs off the ground with its trunk, as all mammals can do, some to small degrees, some to very large amounts, but something that can't be done by a reptile or an amphibian. But here we go, as a now definitely moving as a mammal. This is a defined way of moving as a mammal. The forepaws lead you, as do, of course, the teleceptors, perceiving the world in a new way, off the ground. And now there's a certain speed also that can be gotten when the body's off the ground. And here comes that great attempt to begin to use the hands as strong paws, weight supporting the ability for the legs to traverse distances. It's a long way from the back of one foot to the standing foot in front. And with this is the opening of the spine and the perception of something in the world that maybe could be understood. In what form, we don't know. But there's an understanding. And that understanding could be something that leads to a feeling of terror, fear, perceiving frightening objects, startling, and a strong fear of emotions. And also it's the beginning of play, which is inherent in higher mammals. Certainly we see this very much in chimpanzees, monkeys, the primates. And this is a primate. It could be any primate. Now, to get up from a squat, from low down, from that long, low, semi-walk, but still hands on the ground, so it's still all fours. So the next step is to take upright posture by moving the pelvis forwards, opening the spine, the ventral surfaces of the body, and really allowing, as no animal would ever do, unless it was completely safe, allowing the ventral surfaces to open, everything from the throat to the chest, to the belly wall, to the genitals, all exposed rather than feeling threatened. And is this a kind of an understanding? Could it be an understanding? A curiosity, certainly. And after being familiar for eons and looking at different animals' heads, maybe there's an understanding that could be a human, or that could be like the creature looking. And now, getting up on 2 feet and really moving forwards, really moving. And contemplating. Playful contemplation. This is an exploration, really, of new ways to move. New ways to move for a bipedal animal. Safety and security within the tribal family leads to the security of exposing the viscera. Once again. Not fully extended legs yet, not fully extended knees, not even fully extended arms, but a lot of extension in the body compared to other animals. And then learning new ways to walk. So many concepts learned, and then to understand the feelings in one's own body. Another world, the world of the self, the embodied self. What other big concepts would there be? How to walk easily, upright, fully upright, quietly, in a way that's very coordinated. The beginnings of so many new ways to move, so many new ideas relating to the environment. And now there's a new idea. A very abstract way to relate to the environment, the sense of time. Gotta go to work.